Another video where I'm in my pajamas, making the Daf Yomi, heading away for Shabbos. Gonna put on Shabbos clothes soon. I should have waited, but I have a few minutes where it seems like it should be quiet enough. I can at least get in the first Amud, maybe the whole Daf. So we're on Chav Vav Amud Aleph. It says, a similar story like we had yesterday about how Rabbi Akiva's students avoided bandits. Rav Menashe Hava Azul, now we're on our daf, the Beit Harasa. He was Rav Menashe was traveling to Beit Harasa. Pagube Ganave. So there were some robbers some bandits who met him there. And it seemed like he knew that they were Jewish, unfortunately. So Amrulay on Kazalat. So they asked, "Where are you going?" Amalahu Lahen Pumbedisa. He was going to Beit Harasa. They told him he was going to Pumbedisa. Kimatla Beit Harasa Parish. So he got to Beit Harasa. He told him he was going to Pumbedisa, which is a little bit further down the road. And so that's how he avoided being robbed, by telling them that he was going to Pumbedisa, and then he got to Beit Harasa, to his actual destination. And he left Amrulay Talmida de Yehuda Ramoat. Excuse me. So the bandit said, "You must be a student of Yehuda Ramoah." His teacher was Rav Yehuda, and he said, "You must be a student of this tricker Yehuda." Damlahu Yadia Zulay Yehei Rava Dlahavu Hanhu Inshe B'Shamte. So Rabbi Menashe said, he said, "You know who he is? Is he really deceitful? Is that who he is? Of course not. God should curse you. You should be under the curse of Rav Yehuda as well. Rav Yehuda was a great person. You know how great he is, and if he says a curse on you, then it's like a curse of God." This word shamta really means that like excommunication. Also, Avodah so the robbers, they kept trying to rob people for 22 years, but they had no success. So when they saw what happens, they said, "Release me from this curse, from this excommunication." Now one of them was a weaver, and he didn't ask for the curse to be removed, and a lion ate him. And so that's what the saying goes, that a weaver who is not humble loses out on years of his life. Chazi Mabein Ganave Bavel Velistan Der Israel. So from these two stories, we can see the difference between Babylonian robbers and Israeli bandits. The Israeli bandits, they saw that Rabbi Akiva, they said, "Oh, if they said, look, if he's a student of Rabbi Akiva, he's never going to get hurt." Whereas the Babylonians were like, they're going to keep on robbing, and they're going to go ask for it to be removed from the curse.
I promise the guy.
All right, so we have a new Mishnah. This is also a very controversial Mishnah, and we're going to explain what it means.
Like it or not.
Basril is Tiyala this Avodah Kechavim Neish Milas Ben La'akum. Avodah Kechavim Milas Bas Yisrael. It said that a Jewish woman shouldn't be a midwife for a pagan because the child is going to grow up into idolatry. Now the Meiri, once again, the answer that we have says that this is talking about the ancient pagans who were truly wicked and were going to destroy society, and we're not talking about modern day people. And so this law does not apply today, and it never was practiced in any Orthodox community. If a woman was a midwife in modern times, in the past, 2,000 years really, where most people have been, well, not 2,000 years, that most people have been monotheists, but certainly in the past 1,500 years or so, most people in the world are monotheists. They're not pagans anymore. And so there was no reason that this law no longer applies, and the Code of Jewish Law says it doesn't apply. So all of this is theoretical and ancient history. So that's the answer to those who were upset by this. But the pagan woman could be the midwife for a Jewish woman. Assuming that there are people around who are making sure that the pagan woman is not going to kill the baby or something like that. If it's in the Jewish woman's house, that's where most people would give birth in ancient times, was in their own home. Excuse me. So too, a Jewish woman shouldn't be a wet nurse for a pagan woman, but the pagan woman could be the wet nurse for a Jewish child if the mother is watching. So Tana Rabbanan. So again, anytime we have a Mishnah, we have to understand what does this mean and what is the idea behind these rulings, because they could be very easily misunderstood. Tana Rabbanan Basrol Tialadis Ha'akum Neshim Elos Ben La'akum. The rabbis taught in a brayso that a Jewish woman shouldn't be a midwife for a pagan woman because she's helping to raise a child to to idolatry, and it's going to be detrimental to society. However, this brayso brings that Rabbi Meir disagrees with the Mishnah that we have, and usually we say Stam Mishnah Rabbi Meir. The Mishnah doesn't have an author, and usually we say an authorless Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. However, here we see that they say that the pagan woman shouldn't be the midwife for the Jewish woman because she might try to kill the baby. And the sages say that if there are other Jewish women around, the pagan woman could be a midwife if they're watching her, but privately not, because privately it's likely that they would have killed the baby. And so further, Rabbi Meir prohibited even when there were other Jewish women there. The Zimnan the Manchale Yadapusa the Katal because she could possibly even kill the baby by putting her head on the soft spot in the head and killing without anybody even realize what's happening. He the armor Molda Yodaisa Bas Molda
It's not your
Yodaisa.
video, Tati. It's just my video.
The cup mashpilna
Be right
minaihu.
back.
The maki uf ya.
Be right back.
Alright, you want me to pause it so you can tell me something?
Yes.
Alright. Because we see there was a story that a pagan woman said to another pagan woman, said, "You're a midwife for Jewish women, and your mother was also a midwife for Jewish women." And she said, and then she insulted her back. That was her insult, and her insult back was that.
Tati, get away.
All right, I don't know what that is. Something. Oh. Leave it. Just leave it. Don't worry about it. That such bad things should fall upon her as the number of Jewish children she'd killed. Because she spilled Jewish blood like a river, a foaming river. The rabbi said, "No, this woman is just this pagan woman. She's just a big talker. She never actually killed anybody." She wouldn't have gotten away with it. So Mishnah then says that a Jewish woman shouldn't be a wet nurse for a pagan baby. The same reason why the Mishnah said, as a midwife, shouldn't be nursing a pagan baby, because you're helping the baby grow up to become a pagan. But you shouldn't let a pagan woman nurse the Jewish babies, because the pagan woman might kill the Jewish baby. The Rebbe Meir. That's what Rebbe Meir said. Again, different than our Mishnah. However, the sages say as long as there are other Jewish women around watching, making sure she doesn't kill the baby, so then it's okay, but privately not. Rabbi Meir is Al-Gaba Namilei. Rabbi Meir says even if other women are watching, you can't have the pagan woman nurse the Jewish baby. Because she might put some poison on her body where the baby's nursing and kill the baby like that. And if it's necessary to say both the midwife and the law of the midwife and the law of the wet nurse. Why? The Yishmin Miyaladas, but he come and Rabban the Sharim Layafsher, Mishum Dechiris Roisai. Of Manik, the Afsher, the Shaifel, of Sam Vlad Mebar, the Katlay, Aim Moidal Rabbi Meir, the Yishmin Manika, but he to come and Meir, the Asr, Mishum the Shaifel, Sam Ladad Mebar, the Katlay, of Mladis Layafsher, the Hecha, the Chiris Roisai, the Salgaba, and Moidal Hula Rabban and Sricha. So we're saying like this, since it's when she's, you might think if we only mentioned about the law of the wet nurse, because she could have put the poison on her body before she got to the Jew's house, and then she would get away with it. But when she's a midwife, then maybe not, because she couldn't get away with it. So that's why I had to say that one. And so we might think that the rabbis would agree with Rebbe Meir as far as nursing. And if we only mention the wet nurse, so Rebbe Meir holds it's forbidden because she could put the poison on. But the midwife, you might think they wouldn't disagree because they couldn't get away with it. So that's why we needed both teachings there.
Avrami!
So Minhu Yehudis Milas. There's a different brisa that says a Jewish woman could be a wet nurse. No, it could be a midwife for a pagan if she gets paid for the job, but she can't do it for free. You're allowed to do it for pay because it could cause anti-Semitism if they refuse to do that. Zarah of Yosef Lememo Lude Akum B'Shabbos B'Socher Shari. Yosef said even on Shabbos you can be a midwife for a non-Jewish baby, even on Shabbos, and they could get paid afterwards, because otherwise it would cause anti-Semitism if she would refuse. Amalei Abaya Yachal Meimer Lo Lidan Menatri Shabbos Mechalin Alayhu Did Chud Aloi Menatri Shabbos Lo Mechalinan. However, Abaya said no. It's not going to cause. So Abaya said to Rav Yosef that it's not going to cause anti-Semitism, because we could say we break Shabbos for our own children because they're going to grow up and keep Shabbos. But if your child's not going to grow up and keep Shabbos, why should we be able to break Shabbos? So there's a clear explanation, and it's not going to cause anti-Semitism. So Rav Yosef Lemeimar Ainuke B'Sacher Shamei Mishum Eva Amalei Abai Yachal Lemeimar Penuya Hi Beina Nensuve V'yeshes Ishi like comes to Hamad B'Pegavra.
Mark, what is
So
cute when you're offended.
So Yosef said a Jewish woman could nurse a pagan woman if she's getting paid, and if she would refuse, could cause anti-Semitism. And Abaya said no. If she's single, meaning let's say she was, how could she refuse it if she's single? Meaning she was married before and she had a baby, and maybe she's a widow or a divorcee. She could say, she wants to find a new husband, and it's going to be hard if she's a wet nurse to find a new husband. If she's married, she's going to say her husband's not going to like the way she could get dirty or something, being a wet nurse for someone else. Ksavar of Yosef Lema Hadasanya, or she could hurt her or something. Akum v'rei behema daka lemal moridin. If Yosef said that there's a brisa that says when it comes to pagans and it comes to people, meaning Jewish people who shepherd small animals, sheep and goats, that are destructive to the community, they steal from others. They're basically thieves because their animals are grazing on other people's property. If they're in trouble, we don't have to help them, but we cannot harm them. We can't purposely put them into trouble. Asuki b'sacher shari. But if they're going to pay you to save them, then you're allowed to go and save them, but you don't have to volunteer. Shum Eva. Again, this doesn't apply to modern day people. It's ancient times.
I promise you'll be in control of the water, okay? Come on. Yeah, it's going to be fine. Come on. Don't be scared. You're going to control the water, okay?
So, if you pay them, you're allowed to save them Mishum Eva, because it's going to cause anti-Semitism if you don't save them. Amalei Bayach Loimalei Klibriya Idgra Inami Nikita Li Zimna Levedavar. But Abaya said no. If you could say that I have to go save my son, he's up on a roof, and I need to go rescue him or something else, or I have to go. I have an appointment at the government office. I have to keep it. I don't have time for this now. Meaning he would even lose the money. He would have some kind of fine that's going to be more than whatever he's being offered to pay if he doesn't do it. It's snowing again. Tane Rabbi Abau Kamed Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Abau taught name Rabbi Yechanan Akam Rabbi Behemadaka Lemalam V'Maridin. I will mean my service for Mumarim Hamaridin V'Lemalan. So Rabbi told Rabbi Yechanan the whole brisa that pagans and people who shepherd sheep and goats on other people's property, you don't have to rescue them if they're in trouble, but you cannot put them in harm. You can't do anything active. You can be passive, but not active in their harm, basically. However, now we're on Amud Beis. When we're talking about Jews who are um, who are minin, we're going to discuss what does that mean. We'll say that it means um, heretics, moiserous, informers, people who are informers who put, will give other Jews to pagans in order to be killed. You know, um, they would give them away to the Romans to be killed and things like that. And mumarim, people who rebel against the Torah, people who convert to another religion, if they're Jewish, harmaridim v'leimalan. Them, you could even, if you could technically do something active that would put them in harm's way without exactly being directly, but being active in their harm, because such people were they were a threat to society. Chazon Ish says that these days we don't know who is in these categories, so these laws don't apply today. And furthermore, it's brought here that goes without saying that Dina Malchus Adina. This is only talking about in ancient times when there was a Jewish theocracy, but if they were living in a society that had the rule of law that prohibited such activities, such things didn't apply. So we don't have to, no one should interpret this to being even talking about Jewish people today. However, it should show that these are the lowest dregs of society. If such people exist today, even though we wouldn't actively attack them, they are deserving of such treatment. Even if we, we don't engage in such treatment, they're really bad people, as far as in the eyes of the Jewish faith, and that certainly that a Jew who is corrupt is much worse than any pagan. Rabbi Yochanan disagreed with Rabbi Bao. He says, then Deuteronomy 22:3, it says you should give back anything that was lost by your brother. And when it says anything in a brother, a lost ox, it means even a Jew who converted to another religion. So how can you say that we can actively attack them? Samim v'kan mumer. So they said, all right, a mean and a moiser are among those that they would lower into the, they could actively harm them, but not passively, not only passively, but actively, but not the mummer. That we could erase from this brisa. Again, it's a brisa. It's not. It's not a mission. Also, with a shani lay, kan b'mummer eichel nevelos seirova and kan b'mummer eichel nevelos ahachis. Or another question is, what do we mean by a mummer? What is a mummer? What is a mummer? Could be someone who goes to a different religion, or it could also be someone who disregards the laws of the Torah. So the question is, why is he disregarding the laws of the Torah? Is he disregarding it because he's weak and he has a desire to violate the laws, but he knows it's wrong and he's trying to be better? Or maybe he's not trying hard enough, or whatever. Or we're talking about someone who is rebelling against the Torah just to anger God. So which type of mummer is it? Maybe the mummer l'teyavon is considered your brother because he believes that the Torah is true, but he's trying to be good, but he's having a hard time. But he's not rebelling against God. He's just having a hard time dealing with being a human being and having desires. or he's not ready for something yet. But someone who's a mumar lahachis, someone who is trying to anger God specifically, that's show that he doesn't care about the Torah, and he knows it's and he knows it's wrong, and he still does it, and he doesn't care, and he's rebelling. So that could be the mumar that were included. So kasav roichel novel lahachis minhu. So meaning, so Rav Avahu says that the mumar lahachis is not a mumar, he's a min. He has a different religion, he has a different belief system, and so therefore we don't even call him a mumar in this category here. Itmar mumar pligi Rav Achav Ravina chadam l'sayavin mumar lahachis min havi v'chadam arfil lahachis nami mumar el ezu min ze'oived alilei keichavim. We're now going to discuss the meanings of these different terms, the min and the mumar. The min is, we said, the sectarian. It means like a species, a type. The mumar is the one who turns around and goes away from the laws. So which is the difference? Which is it? So one says that the mumar could be, the mumar lahachis is called a min, and the mumar l'teyavin is not called a min. And the other would say that no, the mumar, the min is the mumar lahachis. All right, we're going to have to stop here. We'll continue the video later. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. And we'll make the rest of the video maybe tomorrow night. All right.